Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, and today I'm talking with Chris Lien. He is the Executive Vice President of Industry Affairs for BCC Software, and we're going to be talking about data and the postal system and all kinds of fun things like that. But before we get started, if you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the box below. You can show your support for the Who's Mailing What channel by tapping the like button, and to get notified when we add new videos, click on subscribe. Now, let's meet the mailers. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much, Paul. I'm glad to be here and happy to talk to you today.
Awesome. Well, Chris, let's just address the elephant in the room.
Sure.
What can mailers expect for postal increases in 2024?
Well, unfortunately, Paul, much of the same that we've been seeing really since August of 2021. The Postal Service has been leveraging fully the pricing authority that the Postal Regulatory Commission granted to them. Postal Regulatory Commission did a 10-year review after the Postal Accountability Enhancement Act was enacted in 2006, which effectively capped pricing at the Consumer Price Index level. And we had really stable and predictable pricing prior to that. With that 10-year review, it gave the Postal Service additional pricing latitude. And we have seen a cumulative effect of 20–30% increases in postage in this twice per year cadence since August 21st, 2021. But to more specifically answer your question, Paul, we are seeing about a 2% average increase for January, but July of next year, 2024, July is going to be 7 to 9% increase. And like I said, if you add that on top of that cumulative effect, it is significant. It's significant, and we're seeing many mailers responding to that.
Wow, that's really something.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. Let's talk more about that later, but let's get started by talking about your background. How did you get started in the world of print and marketing? And also, what is your role at BCC Software? What is that about today?
Yeah, well, thank you. So I've been in the mailing industry for over 30 years, Paul. And I like to say that I came into the industry backwards. I started, when you think about mail preparation, it's kind of a linear process, right? Starting off with data, and then you're going to select the names and addresses that you want to mail to. You'll correct those addresses and so forth, ultimately resulting in containers of mail that have to be brought to the Postal Service and inducted into the industry. So I came in actually on the transportation industry side. So I started working with a company called C.H. Robinson and developed software that would pick the induction points for mail preparation. And as I progressed through the last 30 years, Paul, I sort of worked backwards in the mail preparation and got a really good understanding of how mail is prepared. What are all the different variables in this Rubik's Cube, if you will, of mail preparation that's needed to get postage discounts? I've had the pleasure of serving as product manager at times. I've been an engineer. That's my background, is computer science, in fact. And I had a really special time leading BCC Software as its president. So from 2010 to 2021, I helped navigate BCC through a series of private equity firm ownership, ultimately selling the company to Blue Crest. And in December of 2020, that was the point where I decided it was time for me really to focus on being an advocate for our customers in the industry. And so I stepped down as president so I could be the executive vice president of Postal Affairs and continue to work very closely with our postal partners as well as the industry and representing our customers and being that voice of advocacy.
Right. Well, you bring me to my next question, which is, talking about your activity in the industry. You serve on the board of the National Postal Forum, for example. Can you talk about what that is all about with NPF, with MTAC, and why is that all important to you?
Well, one of the things I like about this industry, Paul, is that we work together. Right, the industry and the Postal Service, there absolutely is a partnership. In fact, I've often described this as a 3P, a public-private partnership that we have with the United States Postal Service. The Postal Service cannot fulfill their mission of delivering for universal service obligation without the assistance of the mailing industry. We need to prepare the mail effectively and efficiently, and to do that, we have to work together. You'll probably see on the wall behind me a lot of different stamp art and post and different things. That's really reflective of the 30 years of working together.
Wow.
MTAC, MTAC is the Postmaster General's Mailers Technical Advisory Committee. I've been involved with MTAC for 20 years. Paul, serving as both a representative for industry associations as well as its chair as well. In 2014, I was the chairman of MTAC, and I still go to MTAC 4 times a year. That's how often we meet, to participate in the committees and the work groups and the activity and discussions that are so essential, particularly now for the Living for America plan as the Postal Service rolls that out. Being on the board of the National Postal Forum, as well as other industry associations, allows me to help bring that voice of the industry to a broader venue, to a broader group, and try to encourage a lot of people to come in. In fact, that's one of the things I found really interesting last year or this year, I should say, 2023, with the Charlotte National Postal Forum. About a third of the people that were there, Paul, were first timers to the National Postal Forum. So we are starting to attract a lot of new talent and some people that are interested in what this industry is all about.
Wow, that's great. That's great. That sort of brings up a question, which is what can and what should mail owners and brands and printers do proactively to ensure that the healthy postal system continues to function?
It's a great question. I think the answer to that is we need to tell our story. We've got a great story to tell in print and mail, because no other single channel of communication is as impactful as a direct mail piece. I often say when you touch a piece of mail, it touches you back, right?
Yep.
You can feel it. There's so much to it that just a digital only platform cannot provide. So it's really important for us to be able to talk about the value that a physical piece of mail has and its overall multi-channel communication opportunity. It's important to talk about trust as well. A lot of effort goes into selecting names and addresses, preparing those names and addresses. A lot of money goes into preparing an effective piece of mail. So this isn't just randomly scattering out messages across the internet. It really is finally targeting somebody. So I think it's important to understand those. And then finally, new technology, Paul. This industry has rapidly advanced in terms of data and technology. We can track at such a high precision where that mail piece is on its journey. As it's going out to the final recipient, we can strategically time messages to complement that mail piece. And we have an attribution story of direct mail that really no other form of marketing can match. We can definitively know that somebody has touched that mail piece. And some of the statistics out of the mail study diary really goes to a lot of information about that, where it talks about that value. The household diary study is where I was trying to say. It goes a long way to help talk about how mail is used and received by the homes. People still trust the mail.
Right. Yeah, I've had that conversation with friends and colleagues in different parts of this ecosystem, our ecosystem,
Right.
and just other industries, and talking about how direct mail is today. It's a digital channel. It's a digital channel because of all the marketing tools. It's a digital channel because of all the printing techniques that come into play that were, extremely expensive, if not kind of out of reach for most people, just a few years ago.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, well, this kind of dovetails with my next question, which is talking about one of the challenges in the industry, again, this big ecosystem, which is talent, both attracting new people as well as keeping current staff along the supply chain with up-to-date and relevant skills. So how does BCC support companies investing in these kinds of efforts?
Yeah, that's a great point. I shared with you earlier that about a third of the attendees for the National Postal Forum were first timers. And I had a chance to talk to a lot of them. And I had a chance to talk to a number of my customers who are also working to bring new talent in. And I think it goes a little bit back to what I was saying is telling the story and helping young marketers understand that this is a very important channel. Print and physical communication is super important. And if we can get in front of that early enough, by going to the colleges and universities, by being actively involved, by putting together a mentoring program. There's something called Leaders Connect now. That's a
Right.
joint effort. You talk about the ecosystem, Paul. It's a joint effort between MTAC, the Postal Customer Council, and the United States Postal Service to put together a mentor-mentee program to help bring in people to the industry, get them rapidly acquainted, build up a relation, a database of people that they can contact and leverage with it. BCC's been doing that internally. We have a mentorship program that we've been doing. I'm working with my third mentor now.
Wow.
My first two, I helped them get positions in leadership within the industry, present at the National Postal Forum. There's one individual, one of my mentees, has been coming with me to MTAC and getting to meet people and hearing it firsthand. And they're really kind of evangelizing out to their
Awesome.
colleagues of
Great.
what this industry is about. So I think it's tell the story, get involved, look at a mentoring program, and I think you're going to find some pretty interesting talent that'll come into this industry.
That is so encouraging to hear. Well, let's just jump right into and talk about BCC software. Before we can, get into specifics, can you just quickly provide an overview of all the services you offer for pre-sort and data quality solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. So BCC Software really has kind of three areas that we help our customers. We've got data services, right, that help to keep the address complete, correct, and current, what I call the 3C approach to address quality. We have software that's used on premise for our customers to be able to take that corrected name and address and sequence it in the right order to get postage discounts. And we support a number of different sized mailers and platforms and technology, from entry-level mailers to the largest mail producers in the world. And then we have customer support. And while customer support is really something that sort of comes along with both the software and the services, it's a very important differentiator for BCC software, Paul, particularly nowadays. All of our customer support representatives at BCC are certified by the United States Postal Service as mailpiece design professionals.
Okay.
So they don't just know our software and their services, which they should, but they know mail and they know it incredibly well. So a lot of our customers view BCC as not just a provider or a vendor that they're working with. We are an extension of their mailing operation. We help our customers in so many different ways with that. Again, the data, no other software provider licenses as much data directly from the U.S. Postal Service. We're the direct licensee, so we can ensure that chain of custody. I mentioned the software is expansive. We support all classes of mail, including some of the very niche classes for periodical and media mail. And then again, that support, keeping everyone up to date on what's happening with it in this rapid fire change with the Postal Service, with so many different price changes, but also with the sortation changes to support the Delivering for America plan.
Right. Well, thank you. That's a great lead in to talk about your flagship product, BCC Mail Manager. So, we know that marketers who include mail in their mix of channels are facing challenges we've already talked a little bit about with increasing printing as well as postage costs. So what advantages does Mail Manager offer to its users?
So great question, and thanks for the opportunity to talk about it. So I'll be the first. I'm very passionate about postal and about mail, as you can probably tell. But
Yes,
I'm also going to be one of the first to say it's pretty complicated.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to prepare mailing according to the domestic mail manual of the Postal Service. So what Mail Manager does is it really makes it easy for somebody that's new to the industry or somebody that's been a veteran for a long time to be able to effectively and properly prepare their mailings with it. It's an intuitive step-by-step interface to bring in the list, and you can take in from multiple different formats. You can select with the list which names and addresses or a subset that you want to mail to. You can personalize the messaging in there. You can sequence it. Of course, it has direct access to all of our data services, so you can enhance the address, either correct it with USPS data as a trusted source, or enhance the address with non-postal data like geocoding, so I can pinpoint like just those addresses that are within a particular radius. And of course, it does containerize the pieces after it's pre-sorted those to get the maximum postage discounts possible. In many cases, 50% or more discount off of what you would pay at a full service rate.
Great.
And then all the barcodes and the tracking services to go with it. So Mail Manager grows with your business. There's an entry-level product that mid product that has your add-on options, and then our full service sort of flagship enterprise product gives you the full breadth of mailing preparation. And we just recently, Paul, launched a companion interface to Mail Manager to make it even easier for new market entrants to be able to get introduced to this wonderful world of mail, while still giving you the option to switch back to the more complete interface where you've got access to fine tune everything exactly the way you want for your customer.
Wow, cool, very cool. So, we know address quality issues continue to be a challenge for so many marketers, even today. And BCC has a lot of solutions for reducing undeliverables addressed UAA mail. But I want to hear more about how to handle this stat I saw, how to handle 40% of Americans who don't file a change of address notice with the USPS. That blew me away when I read that.
It's a big number, Paul. A big number, and the fact is that many people will tell somebody that they moved. They're just not accustomed to telling the postal service.
Right.
And I'm speaking specifically, Paul, to the millennials and the Gen Z.
Okay.
These are demographics that they haven't grown up around mail. I mean, they enjoy mail, and the studies show that when they get a mail piece, they're really excited about that because they've only lived in a digital world. So getting something you can touch goes a long way. But they're not used to working with the postal service or filing change of address. However, they will tell a retailer where their address is because they want to get the warranty for the big screen TV that they just bought.
Right.
Or they will tell a magazine subscription company, for example, directly where they've moved because they want to get their Sports Illustrated or whatever it is. So they are telling other sources on where that they have moved. And so what BCC Software has done is we partnered to get the data of what we call proprietary change of address to go in to be used in addition to the national change of address.
Okay.
The NCOA is postal data. That's what we use to keep up with customers on the move. And by the way, every hour, over 6,500 people file a change of address with the Postal Service.
Wow.
In this country. So we're picking that up with the NCOA. And now with our PCOA solution, we can get both sides of those. So you get a full look at it. And we even have a service, Paul, where it bundles it together. We call it Compliance Plus.
Okay.
It's the NCOA, PCOA, and it goes through and we've had some great success, particularly for those marketers that are looking to do a campaign and try to bring in some new customers with that rather than an established list, something that they can use for a brand new campaign.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I think that's a terrific group of products because I think, again, that's such a mind-blowing figure to me, but it makes perfect sense how he explained it. At the beginning of our interview, you shared that mailers can do some things to offset the postal increases that are on the way. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about all of that?
Absolutely. And, those are scary numbers that I talked about, right? 23% increases in just the last year. And there's a big hurdle coming up ahead. That's 7 to 9%, depending on how you sort the mail, could even be more.
July next year, right?
Yeah, July of 2024. A 9% postage increase is what I call the do nothing price. If you do nothing different than you're doing today, then yes, that's how much it's going to go up. So you need to do something, right? And so what are the somethings that you can do? First of all, you can sharpen your pencil a little bit more in terms of postage discounts, and that's what our customer support team can help our customers with, getting a better way to look at the postage sortation. But the other way that a lot of mailers are able to mitigate some of these price increases are with these promotions. The Postal Service is doing promotions that give significant discounts, 5%, 3%, and even something that's going to get a 30% discount that I'll talk about in a minute. But just by doing something really simple, I've got a sample piece here. That, I love this one. This is an example of a mail piece, Paul, where there's you can maybe hear the scratchy on the outside. It's
I can hear it.
Yeah, there's a tactile aspect to it. And then when I open up the mail piece, it does a little pop-up here, so it's interactive. And if I scratch the hot sauce, I can smell that. So it's a whole multi-sensory experience with this. Mail pieces like this would get a 5% discount from the Postal Service involved in tactile and sensory mailings. You can also even have something as simple as just having your mail piece tell the recipient to say a certain phrase, and I won't say her name, a certain device that listening for a trigger word. I think you know what I mean.
What are you talking about, right?
Voice assisted device. But if you just say, hey, hey, fill in the blank, tell me more about BCC software, that would get a discount. If the mail piece is glossy, it gets a discount. If it's personalized, it could get a discount. So there's a whole host of different ways that you can drop that postage. And then I mentioned before this big discount, 30%, that's the mail volume discount. Post Service is going to allow mail owners that increase their mail volume in 2024 a 30% credit actually on future mailings with that. So a lot of ways that you can do something, and we can help you with that so you're not paying the high postage.
Right. And of course, there's informed delivery as well.
Absolutely. Informed delivery, that's a game changer, Paul.
Yeah.
Informed delivery is probably the easiest way for a mail owner or anyone to get into multi-channel marketing because you're already right there. And BCC software and our software technology acts as a bridge for our customers to be able to get access to the informed delivery discount, where you've got the high touch and high tech combined together.
Yeah, I see that like every day. I'm looking at my
Yeah.
check my notifications, and of all the mail that comes in, a decent amount uses informed delivery, but there's so much potential right there to use it fully.
Absolutely, especially with the ride along, they call it, where you can click and engage on a color replacement picture in the informed delivery feed. I can begin to engage with the marketer, and when I mentioned before about tracking the mail pieces and strategically timing, marketers now are able to tell their customer, hey, 3 days from now, Chris, you're going to get something really special. 2 days from now, right? Keep building up anticipation so that as you see that informed delivery feed, you're likely to click on that right away. And that could present a whole new way to be able to take that mail piece, scan the QR code on it, and open up a whole new discount with it. It really is a game-changing multi-channel experience. And so many marketers, it's just all right within your fingertips, and we can help you make that happen.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it too. So we talked a lot about data specifically, but going more broadly, what is to you your best value proposition for direct mail? Why does it still work so well today?
Well, I kind of demonstrated with my piece, right? When I touch this piece, it touches me back. Direct mail stimulates 4 parts of the brain. My olfactory, senses can smell the mail piece. Maybe, in this case, there was hot sauce. My auditory nerves can hear it. My haptic nerves can feel it with that. My optic nerves see it, right? So there's so many different ways. If I'm just using a digital device like this, it feels the same reading my email as it does playing Fruit Ninja, right?
Right.
And I might have 100, maybe 200 unread emails that get filtered into a spam folder or maybe even just deleted without even seeing it.
Right.
But I'm quite certain none of our listeners or viewers have 200 pieces of mail sitting in their mailbox right now.
Probably
They're going
not.
out to get it, right? And when they touch that mail piece, it touches you back, and then your whole brand begins to get deeply imprinted. And there's vast neurological studies that really validate that. So I think, again, back to what I was saying, we have a story to tell in this industry. It's an exciting story. It anchors the multi-channel marketing, and it's an effective way to be able to help marketers get their communication out and to gain new business.
Right. Well, that sort of anticipates my kind of my wrap up question, which is, what trends do you see for direct mail marketing in the next couple years?
I see a lot more personalization. Marketers have access to much more data about people today than they did before. I think that we're going to see more effective mail pieces. And what I mean by that are mail pieces that have addresses that are correct. The marketers can't waste mail on UAA or undeliverable as address anymore. So they need to make sure the address is deliverable. They need to make sure that the piece is effective and personalized. And I think they need to find a way to be able to continue to leverage that digital and physical together. It's not an either or, it's and. You need to put those two together, but make sure that physical piece of mail is getting the type of treatment and respect, really, that it deserves. The attribution on direct mail is significant, and when combined, again, in a properly and astutely done multi-channel campaign, you're going to see 20% response rates and higher. You're going to have a tremendous return on investment, an ROI that frankly digital just cannot touch.
Right. Yeah, completely agree. And that's such a great story to tell.
Yeah.
That's a great place to wrap things up. How can people with questions or concerns about, their data contact you or BCC to find out more about all the solutions that you offer?
Well, thank you, Paul. I think probably the easiest way is to visit our webpage. It's www.bccsoftware.com. You'll see our whole portfolio of technology. You'll also see the link to Bluecrest, our parent company. Bluecrest provides the physical sortation and the industry-leading inserting technology to help with mail preparation. So whereas BCC is on the digital and the data side, with the software, Bluecrest has the physical, and together we're an incredible company that can help mailers of all sizes with it. So do visit bccsoftware.com. We'd like to know, how can we help?
Awesome. Well, again, Chris Lien of BCC Software, thank you so much for joining me and Who's Mailing What here on Meet the Mailers today. And all of you, thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions for us or my guest, please leave them in the box below. You can show your support for the program by tapping the like button and click on subscribe to be notified of new videos when they're added to the Who's Mailing What channel. If you want to be highlighted in a future Meet the Mailers, I'd love to hear from you. So my contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. Thank you again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you next time.